أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله محمد بن عبد الله وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. My dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to remind each other on taqwa, the most important goal in our life. We must encourage one another to seek the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that is the only thing that can benefit us and can make our affairs straight in this world as well as in the hereafter. And taqwa is the pillar in this life and the most important provision that the person takes with for the hereafter. I had started a discussion about few paragraphs of Dua Makarim Akhlaq, since this dua teaches us a lot of aspects in our life and on how to relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to the people in the society, the communities. And today, I wanted to discuss about this paragraph, whereby Imam alayhi salam tells us, وَأَبْدِلْنِي اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد لا تدع خصلة تعاب مني إلا أصلحتها ولا عائبة أؤنب بها إلا حسنت, to the end of this dua. In this part of this dua, Imam alayhi salam directs our attention to the social interactions, to our life in the social life with other people. And he wants us to try and reflect on this, that we live in a society whereby people are of different motives and different behaviors, and sometimes we may encounter certain situations which are not pleasant in our lives. So we may come across people who treat us with hatred, with hasad, envy or enmity, and they show to us kind of behaviors that we dislike. So Imam says, لا تدع خصلة تعاب مني إلا أصلحتها. First of all, O Allah, make me correct all the faults. First of all, this is the first thing, that in myself, let me be able to correct anything that may cause me to be distressed, to be blamed in the eyes of the people or in the Sharia point of view. لا تعلي خصلة تعاب مني إلى أصلحتها. So if there is anything that is wrong in me, أصلحها. And Islah here is to remove it, to change it, to get it out of my system. تعاب من إلا أصلحتها. Then he says, وَلَا عَيْبَةٍ أُؤَنَّبُ بِهَا إِلَّا حَسَنْتَهَا. Sometimes a person may have a certain trait, but on the end that is not supposed to be. Normally in Akhlaq, they say, it's always ifratun aw tafrid. When it comes to, for example, generosity, if a person is a miser, stingy, this is aib. While if a person gives too much, then it is normal, then he is also blamed on that. He is supposed to be moderate in his affairs. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. Those when they spend, they are not stingy, nor do they behave extravagantly in their spending. Okay? وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. They are always moderate, they are always in the middle. Now, if a person has this kind of behavior, there's something good in him, but at the same time, he does it to the level that is exaggerated, that is not supposed to be. So he asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to correct that in him, so that he doesn't do things on the exaggeration side. As well as was not having this quality, also on the exaggeration side, he should not have it. وَلَا عَيْبَةٍ أُؤَنَّبُ بِهَا إِلَّا حَسَنْتَهَا وَلَا أُكْرُمَةً فِيَّ نَاقِصَةً إِلَّا أَتْمَمْتَهَا. And if there is anything good in me, any kind of akhlaq that is good in me, okay, completed. What does he mean with this? He says to us, sometimes a person may have good akhlaq. His good behavior, has a good behavior, but only with a section of people. Maybe in the society, in the outside world, he seems to be very good. But when it comes to the family, he's not very good with them. Okay? Or the opposite, he's very good with the family, but in the outside world, he doesn't behave very well. He has a certain trait that is incomplete. Imam is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here that if there is any virtue in me, there is any good trait in me, make it complete. So that it is not for a certain section of people, but it is for all other people. وَلَا أُكْرُمَةً فِيَّ نَاقِصَةً إِلَّا أَتْمَمْتَهَا. If you look at these three lines, you'll find that Imam has used different expressions on pointing out defects in our own akhlaq, in our own life. Sometimes he uses khislatan tu'abu. So a certain trait that I'm ashamed of, tu'abu min. And then he says wala aibatin, and a certain defect that I will be blamed for. And then he says wala ukrumatan, and a certain good trait that is incomplete. When you look at the words of Imam alayhi salam, the choice of the words points to the diqqa, to the level of the expression of Aimma alayhi salam that is similar to the whole Quran, that we cannot just pass by these words without paying attention to. So Sheikh Makarim Shirazi, in explaining these few lines, he says, in the first line, khislatan tu'ab biha is like husn su'ul khulq, the bad behavior, which I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove it from me, because it needs islah. Aibatin u'annabu biha, this is what a person may have, but it is on the exaggeration side, like having too much generosity that is not balanced. Wala ukrumatan fi naqsatan, a good trait, but it's incomplete. Then he says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa abdilni min bighdati ahli shana'an al-muhabba. Now it comes to the social interactions. And you look at this words, wa abdilni min bighdati ahli shana'an. So replace for me the animosity of the people of hatred with love. Ahli shana'an is the people of hatred. Okay? Shana' is a person who hates. Like we read in Surah Al-Kawthar, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. Okay? The one who hates you is the one who is in the loss. This one who is cut off his progeny. So Imam, in these few lines, he says, وَأَبْدِلْنِ مِنْ بِغْضَةِ أَهْلِ شَنَآنِ. So you may have people in the community, people in the society, in the whole large society, not in a close, small society like this one, but in the large society. You may have people who are amongst the people known as Ahl Shana'an. The Ahl Shana'an are the people who have these three qualities. They are of bad behaviors, su'ul khulq, and they have al-bughd, and that is hatred, okay? And they have al-adawa, which is enmity. Now, these are all Ahl Shana'an, that it is their practice, it is in their behaviors to behave in this way, that they are Ahl Shana'an. You can say this is a group of people who have hatred. So they will act with you in a hatred manner. They will do things that you dislike, and they will confront you with behaviors which are not pleasant. So Imam alayhi salam says that of these people who are Ahl Shana'an, abdilni, replace their hatred with al-mahabba, with love. Now, in this, there are two important sides to look at. One is that we should not be among the people who are known as Ahl Shana'an. We should not be people who hate others. We must be people who love others, who have love for every human being, so long as he is not a transgressor, so long as he is not among those people that we are supposed to hate. Because we also don't say that you must love all the people. Okay? Not everyone deserves to be loved, because there are people who are zalimin, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yuhibbu zalimin. There are people who are of certain behaviors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like. So we cannot say that you love everyone and you cannot segregate about this and that. Okay? We have to love the people who are good. Okay? But at the same time, we should not entertain in our hearts hatred against the people, especially the people who are good and people who are innocent. In one of the du'as we say, رب لا تجعل في قلبي أو ربنا لا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا. Oh Allah, don't make us hate the people who are believers. So a person may, at a certain point, even hate those who are mu'minun, or have hatred against those who are mu'minun. Okay? And this is not a good thing. So on one side, Imam is teaching us to develop love and to have love for those who are believers. Okay? Do not be among the Ahl Shana'an. Okay? This is in the first place. On the other side, that if you are going to have people who hate you, how do you deal with it? So there are two things. One is you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. And here you are turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dua. Dua is Islahul Mu'min, that Allah protects you from the actions of those who are not good, those who hate you, those who might do certain things to you that are harming. So this one. Another thing is for you to act in a righteous way so that you do not attract the hatred of others, or so that you can overcome the hatred of other people. So when you look at the whole Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَادْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Sometimes you encounter bad people who do wrong things to you. The way of Quran is not to retaliate, is not to pay back with evil. The way of Quran and the Prophet Imam alayhi salam is to pay back with good. So they say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَادْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Turn back the evil, repel the evil with what is better, with what is good. And this is one of the ma'ali al-akhlaq. This is one of the highest levels of akhlaq, which needs a lot of sabr, because in this ayah you can see where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَادْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. So you'll find a person who has hatred against you turning into waliyun hamim, into a very close, affectionate friend. Waliyun hamim. وَلَا يُلَقَّاهَ إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ. Now this kind of behavior cannot be given but to those who are very, very lucky. وَلَا يُلَقَّاهَ إِلَّا ذُو صَدْرٍ. And no one can get this, especially except those who are with sabr, with patience. Because it's not an easy thing that you turn back, you repel back evil with good. In our nature, if a person does anything wrong, we want to retaliate. We want to pay back with something which is worse than that. So he abuses you, you also abuse him. He insults you, you want to show him that you are also good in that. Okay? Hits you, I will hit you. Deny you, I deny you. The akhlaq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the akhlaq of the whole Quran, and the Imam alayhi salam is to go on different way. So that evil is removed from the society, from among us the people. Because if you go on retaliating and doing wrong things, you'll create that atmosphere in the society, okay, and it will not come to an end. It becomes a very vicious circle. So this person does wrong, another person does wrong, and it's a promotion of evil. While if you repel bad with evil, with good, you will put it to an end. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَادْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. You find this trait in the akhlaq of the Prophet, the akhlaq of A'immah alayhimus salam. So when he says وَأَبْدِلْنِي مِنْ بِغْضَةِ أَهْلِ الشَّنَآنِ الْمَحَبَّةِ, that replace the hatred of those who hate with love. This is what we should learn from it. And then he says also وَمِنْ حَسَدِ أَهْلِ الْبَغْيِ الْمَوَدَّةِ. And from the hasad, envy. Envy can be just in the heart. So a person wishes that the ni'mah that belongs to another person is removed, is taken away. That is hasad. So hasad is a bad wish. If this remains at the heart level and doesn't come out, you're not accountable, meaning that it's a bad behavior, it's a bad thing, but you will not be punished for having that kind of a feeling unless you show it out, unless you act upon it. So that is al-hasad. Okay? And when we read in Surah Al-Hasad, Surah Al-Hasad, we say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. So from the hasad from the envy of the envier, when he envies, when he acts upon his envy, that means now it comes out in actions. He does wrong things to you because of his hasad. So Imam says, وَمِن حَسَدْ أَهْلِ الْبَغِي. So Ahlul Baghi, those are the ones who act in enmity to other people. So again here Imam is indirectly telling us not to be among the Ahlul Hasad, not to be envious of others. Because you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from the hasad of hasidin. Indirectly is that I should not have this quality in me. Okay? I should have hasad against other people. Instead, I should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his favors. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the giver. So if he has given somebody something that I do not have, I should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow this ni'mah on me. And this is called ghibta. So if I see something good in my friend, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me the like of it. And that is not wrong. That's okay. Just like you have given this friend, this brother of mine, this ni'mah, also bless me with this ni'mah. Not that you wish this ni'mah is taken away from him. Okay? Because al-hasad, envy, ya'kul al-hasanat kama ta'kul nar al-hatab. It eats away the good things of a person the same way hatab will eat. The fire consumes the firewood. Okay? It takes away the iman of a person. When you read about the stories of hasad, you find how it can make a person end up as a kafir after being a mu'min, but because of hasad, he may end up as a kafir. It eats away the iman. But we should protect ourselves from that on one side. On the other side, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the envy of the envious. And not only that, we should also do things that will remove hasad, that will replace hasad with mawadda. That the people who have hasad against us, they don't just love us at the end, but they will have mawadda. Mawadda is different from mahabba. Mawadda is the expression of love. Mahabba is to have love in your heart. Mahabba, that is mahabba. Mawadda is to show that love. So a person may love somebody, but not necessarily has mawadda. He doesn't show it. He doesn't express it to him. When we come to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we are asked to show them the love, not only to have love in our hearts. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Say, I do not ask you for any reward for this work, but mawadda, that you love them, at the same time you show your love to them. You express your love for them. Okay? Now, Imam is saying that in the worst of cases, when I encounter people who have this kind of trait, they are envious of me, they treat me with envy. And because of their envy, they may end up harming me. That you replace their hasad with affection, with love that is expressed in the worst of the situation. This means a person who is envied should be patient, should act in the right way, and should ask the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect him from the hasad of hasidin and to do good to those who are hasidin. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us tawfiq to follow this noble path and that we act righteously in this short temporal life. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل. Once again I remind myself and all of you to be cautious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to remember that to Him we shall return and that we'll be accountable for everything that we do in this world. It's the most important thing. So remember that there's a time to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you return to Him individually, not as a group, not with anybody, not with a family. You go back to Him alone. The way He created you and brought you in this life alone, you go back to Him again. So we need to be careful to think about our situation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to guard ourselves, protect ourselves in every situation in this life. This is very temporal for us. Now we are in the season whereby our Christian brothers celebrate the birthday of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And though we may not believe that Isa alayhi salam was born on the same day that they celebrate 25th of December, however, there's nothing wrong, and as our ulamas have shown us, to congratulate them on this happy occasion and to wish them the best in remembering Isa alayhi salam. At the end of it, Isa alayhi salam is one of the great prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ulil azm, and from whom we learn a lot of lessons. When you look in the whole Quran, there are many verses that talk about Isa alayhi salam in different aspects. And you find that he is a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is supposed to guide us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His life is all miracles. He is born without the father. He spoke in cradle. He ended up being taken away from the people who wanted to kill him miraculously. This is an ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, we as the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam believe At the end, he will join Al-Imam Al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, to bring justice in this world. So we are so close to him and to other prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And maybe it's a good season, it's a good time for us to read about him in the whole Quran, to reflect on him in the whole Quran, as well as in the Ahadith. So you read in Surah Al-Maryam, Surah Ali Imran, ayahs that concern Isa alayhi salam. And as we wish the Christians the Merry Christmas, at the same time we can pass this message about Isa alayhi salam to for them to reflect on the reality of Isa alayhi salam, and that he is not son of God, he is not God, but kalimatullah, he is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alqaha ila Maryam. He is not divine in that sense that they try to portray him, okay? Though we believe that he is one of the greatest persons in this world. So, as a practice of our scholars, we can extend to them the best wishes, we can take to them flowers, we can take to them sweets, whatever, there's no problem in doing that. But at the same time, trying to show out who was Isa in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين وصل على فاطمة